Hi, Salam Alaikum. Sulaiman Rahim here. Messenger of the Covenant. Break of the Seven Seals. Messenger of the Covenant. Break of the Seven Seals. Why is that important? Because he's, if you will, the seal of that prophecy. He fills that prophecy and closes out. See, beginning of the new creation. Opens the door. So let's talk about that. And we're going to talk about the Holocaust in a more mathematical way. So understand it. Because we're going to talk about, this is the third iteration of balance perfect. Balance perfect. There's a lot to be discussed about this because this is the nature of the universe we're talking about, nature of our creation, the mathematics behind it. But I think I'm restricted just to these three for now. This is the third iteration. This is balance perfect 3. We try to round it out, try to get you to understand the nature of the mathematics of Holocaust, the mathematics of justice, mathematics of our creation, because all mathematics, and in the final analysis, you have to learn the language of mathematics. As it said in the lessons, if you wish to learn, be successful, right, you need to learn the mathematical language. Who is teaching you the mathematical language? Surely Farrakhan isn't. He's teaching philosophy. Surely Silas says he doesn't know any. The devil sure is not teaching you because he's ignorant of it and he can't. See, he doesn't even understand the fundamental principle, which is consequence. So, how can you be successful? And that's from Muhammad. Your God says, if you wish to be successful, if you want to be successful, you have to learn the mathematical language. Do you know the mathematical language? Are you trying to learn the mathematical language? The angel is the mathematical language. It's your mind. It's a gym to get your mind strong enough to handle the mathematical language. See? The point I'm trying to get over to people is they think, oh man, I just make it to heaven. That's the Christian view. That's the Christian view. That's not the true view. No? If a dog goes to heaven, does it turn you become a human? You go into paradise, if your mind is not capable of handling that level of mental power, you'll be crushed. You don't know what to do. You won't be able to communicate. You'll be crushed. Because everybody else's mental power is greater than yours. Just crush you. See, because you would think what they're doing is evil. You think what Dr. Yakub did is evil. It wasn't evil. That's mathematics. Cold math. But you think is evil. That's why the Bush did not want to submit. See? Because mathematics is cold. You read the story of Noah's flood, and did they just drown the Christians? Oh, God, he didn't drown the babies, didn't he? See, because they just can't comprehend mathematics. Or, oh, well, he's love, he's compassionate. They don't understand any of that. And you say, man, that's cold-blooded. Well, was death cold-blooded? The bottom line is, if your mental pressure is not equal to or greater than the pressure of the existence, the reality at the time, you're going to be crushed. Period. I don't care who you are. Baby, woman, child, whatever, you will be crushed. So energy deprivation, right? It destroyed us. And we went through it. And in fact, everybody, there was no exceptions. All of us went through it. And so, a person, they say, the Quran says the believers, right? They say the worst of people at first sight. Because you doing things mathematically That's the mind zone. See? And they think on the heart zone, and so you're cruel, no good. See? Just like when God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, there was children there. There was babies. They didn't want to talk about that. Because God wouldn't do stuff like that, wouldn't he? Well, God allows us to have... They don't understand God. They have no idea of God. None whatsoever. And by me talking to you now, some of you it could be turned off by this thing I'm saying, because you can imagine, because that sounds cruel. Because when you say Islam is mathematics, and mathematics Islam, and nature of creation Islam, mathematics, do you really know what you're saying? Do you really know what you're saying? Because they say God's love is from the heart zone. Heart zone is, well, he takes care of little babies. Do we? They got, in the Bible, Joshua's people's told to take the babies of his enemies by the feet and dash their brains against the wall, knock their brains out. Wow, wait a minute, this is God telling them to do that. So what God is that? That's why I don't waste time talking, arguing, brothers, because you don't understand. You're going to understand in a minute. You're going to understand in a minute. That's not nature of our creation. You've been told a full, total lie. And so now you have God looking like the devil, and the devil looking like God. You switch the whole script. Because your God has no connection to the universe. The God that you imagine in your mind has no connection to the universe whatsoever. None. And so that's what caused you to be crushed. Because instead of you going to the gym and getting that mathematical mind, you're still in the heart zone, and then you're going to look at things that you see that you're going to see in the next few days as totally cruel and merciless. And man, what kind of God would do that? That got to be the devil. Because they're going to have, so all the nations going to turn and fight against God because it's going to look like a tyrant. It's going to look like a monster. See? So he's going to kill 1/3 of the population. The angel tells you that. You don't understand. And that's him trying to describe it because, like I said, you're from the heart zone, and man, that guy's a monster. You got to get rid of him. That's why they killed prophets and things. They said, man, that can't. See, what the Quran says, when someone comes into your heart, have a fence to, you want to kill them because you're in the heart zone. So we're going to talk about mathematics here. See, and then you understand Holocaust a little better. I said balance perfect. See, you have balanced math and universal math. The math of the universe, which is every action has an opposite but equal reaction. If you don't see it like that, you're not saying it properly. I hear people say every action has an opposite action. Every action has an opposite reaction. Every action has an equal reaction. No, it's every action has an opposite but equal reaction. If you don't say it properly, don't say it at all, because you know what you're talking about. Has an opposite but equal reaction. And people remember, oh, every action has opposite action, because they don't know what they're talking about, because it sounds good to them, because that means they don't know what they're talking about. Every action has opposite equal reaction. No, every action has an opposite but equal reaction. That's a whole different. No, as much different, has opposite but equal reaction. Opposite but equal. So if you say every action has an equal reaction, that's not true. It has to be opposite but equal. You understand the nuance, but that's the way it works. And that's one problem. You're going to, without a full understanding of mathematics, saying stuff like that, people know right away you're stupid. And they're not going to sit around and cuddle you. somehow I wish there's something you could just look over the hereafter. Just get a peep. Because you're going to see brothers and sisters take care of business. What Elijah Muhammad did was just a shadow. What it looked like in the hereafter. Brothers and sisters take care of business. No sleep. No one sleep anymore. Take care of business. Rocking the universe. Traveling 24 billion miles per second through the universe. Take care of business. Hey. Talking fast. And every word they say is powerful. No one be talking bullshit, gossip, talking mathematics, breaking equations down that these people can't have no idea. The children will be advanced mathematicians well enough to this world. Talking mathematical formulas, calculus and things. Children. And you walk up in here, the child will play with you like your toy. They have no respect for you whatsoever. You have no idea what they're talking about. Because you got this crazy idea that, oh man, I'm just going to slide off in the hereafter. Or you might slide off in here and you might get this, then what? Then you look like a total retard walking around, that's what you want? Because you make yourself look that before me. And I'm trying, the thing is, I treat everybody like babies. I have to. See? But I'm trying to, right? But that's what it is. We're raising life and everything is raising babies. But then at some point, you have to start walking. And talking. Okay? You can't be babes forever. I started as a babe. I thought I knew something when I was realized I thought I knew something. And then I ran to the angel. Even I started understanding mathematics in the universe before the angel. But with the angel and 30 years of studying, I look back, I knew nothing. And I realized so much more it is to know. I can't get that over because, and some people can learn from experience, some people can learn from other people's. I always tell my children, learn from other people's mistakes. That fool go down there, and he robbed the bank and ended up in prison. Why you got it? He's got the experience. But you should have got the knowledge from his experience. Why you got to experience something when you can learn from other people's experience? Because you see the result, you see the consequence of let other people teach you the consequence. And learn from that. Why you got to learn from yours? I tell you, learn from other people's mistakes. You see, watch them. Study them. See what they do. See what this kind of person does. You see this person out there stealing stuff. Okay, watch, see what happens to them. This person out there killing people, see what happened to them. These people out here deceiving people, see what happened to them. See what happened to Farrakhan. Do you want to be disemboweled? He got to admit, I guess, like some kind of virtue. No, that's the result of he got disemboweled because of what he's doing. It's a consequence. He's trying to cover it up. And no mystery God does that. It's a consequence. We understand that. You understand? That's not, oh man, he just got cancer. No. Everything that happens to you is a kind of, that's dangerous, man. What's happening to you? Well, if it happens to me, that means that's consequence of what I've been doing. Period. But I tell people, I do tell people that. So I've had people with me over time. They write to me, yeah, man, consequence. And I said, you better be careful saying that stuff because look what you're doing. So then when something happens to you, you ain't gonna be say, hey man, it was an accident. No, because you telling everybody else ain't an accident happened to them. So you gotta apply it to yourself. No accidents, brothers and sisters. No accidents. See. So I'm gonna try to explain this in a simple way, and I'm not gonna hold too long because like I said, it's late, and I want to wrap this up. I don't think I need a long speech or talk to do it, right? We're talking about balance, right? Balance perfect. Now, you had a fundamental math of the universe, which is every action has an opposite but equal reaction. If you're not going to say it right, don't say it all. I try to tell people, don't just go ahead and mumble stuff. Think about what you're saying. Get it right. I get things wrong because I'm talking too fast sometimes, but I correct it immediately. See? Get it right. Don't tell people you're a mathematician and don't get the principles right. You can't take shortcuts. Every action has opposite reaction. Every action has equal reaction. No, every action has an opposite but equal reaction. If you can't say it, don't say it all. That's the fundamental nature of the universe, period. There's never changed, it's never abrogated, whatever. But you got to balance math, and that's a different math altogether. Oh, wow, where I could you? See? Because that speaks to our nature, our creation. See? We did not have to suffer energy deprivation. We could do what some nations did. Because we suffer energy deprivation because we require more energy because we're more sophisticated. Our body's more sophisticated, more complex. But what we could have done is, instead of same thing, the process of Dr. Yakub making the devils, we could have took and transformed ourselves from a Lamborghini into a Volkswagen Beetle and never suffer energy deprivation. But once you diminish yourself like that, you can't get back. So we came out of this period right now, and we've been all devils. We didn't suffer any deprivation though, but now we'd be lesser creation. We'd be all devils now. And we would have the capability to move around the universe at 24 billion miles per second. Right in history, 24 billion made 24,000 years in advance, because our minds would have been weaker. We had that capability. We would have been Lamborghinis anymore. But we wouldn't have suffered any deprivation. You understand? We wouldn't have suffered it. But some people took that plan. Those people that were Dr. Yakub, remember? That's what they did. So they didn't suffer energy deprivation. See? They suffer other things because of lack of discipline, being likely the case. They did not suffer energy deprivation. But look where they are right now. See, they can't make it hereafter. They can't even make it now because they're being crushed right now. See, actually we are in the hereafter. Uh-oh, what do you mean by that? We are. What do you mean here? We were hereafter. Hereafter what? Some people say hereafter the devil is gone. Hereafter is hereafter. What really hereafter means, hereafter is the point of no more energy deprivation. That's 1948 beginning hereafter. You're not suffering energy deprivation anymore. You're in the hereafter already. You're not suffering energy deprivation anymore. But you understand that. And somebody like said, Jesus, I could tell you, man, you can't bear to hear it. That's what here. See, you let people define hereafter for you. Is it hereafter in your paradise? Hereafter, right, means because the whole situation, the whole process was, the whole idea was we had to go through 50,000 years of energy deprivation. Now we're after it. Hereafter, the period of energy deprivation. The Quran says, it tells you, in the hereafter, right? It says, you see the flames, people in the flame of paradise, they see each other. They see each other. You're standing right next to each other. But one is hell and one's in paradise. One's in heaven, one's in paradise. And that's why I said I could put you in heaven overnight. Learn the mathematical language. But you don't see any of that. Because if you're suffering right now, you're suffering self-imposed energy deprivation. And what you have is you have Master Muhammad and myself here with you and other people that are learning to come out of this, right? The only thing they're suffering is quality. The quality of their energy. That's why I had to give it a fair, because they're here with you, trying to get you out of here. Otherwise, I just leave you. Because, I'm not saying these ain't have a connection with me or Elijah Muhammad, but when Elijah Muhammad is part of it, brothers got the hell out of here. They got the hell out. I don't know if they understood why they was doing it. They got the hell out of America. Or I went to Arabia and whatever. They got the hell out of here. I got people trying to convince me to leave here and move to Africa. See? So they're here only because they're trying to get you out of here. Otherwise, just leave you. Because right now, I don't have to suffer any of this stuff anymore. I just leave. Because the only thing I'm suffering right now is the quality of my energy being controlled by the devil. Because I'm not suffering energy deprivation anymore. I'm suffering the quality of my energy under control of someone else. And the only reason I'm doing that because I'm here with you in this place of, I don't know if you understand that. That you have to start it at a time, right? 1948, when energy deprivation was officially over. That's why I said that's the birth of the Christ and Antichrist. Balance. Balance. See? So let's move on into see if I can explain this a little better here. Why did Master Muhammad tell you can put your heaven overnight? Some of you can be in heaven overnight. Because if you elevated places, right? The elevated places are the more complex of us. So it says they wasn't there yet. We elevated places, they wasn't there yet. But the less complicated of us, still part of us, I ain't talking about the devils. Remember, we have a body, and our body has, from mind always to toes, the toes are less complicated, but still part of our body. And we still respect it, and we love them, and we respect them just as much as we respect our brain and our eyes and everything else. See? So we'll call one thing honorable, there's honorable as everything else, so they're part of our body. You're going to say, I'm wash my hands, but I'm not going to wash my feet. I care my hands, but I don't care my feet. I already talked about that. So that's no damn address if I remember. Right? So they less complex, so they have more disposable energy, and they could be in heaven overnight. But they, because their mental level is lower, they're the ones most vulnerable to this bullshit that they're being told, and they're suffering self-imposed energy deprivation. That's the see the irony of it. They have the ability to be in heaven overnight, but their mental level is lower, so therefore they're easier to be. They're vulnerable to this lie. Their distraction, not distraction, probably use their energy. So now there's some energy deprivation, self-imposed. While the ones that have superior structure, the brain cells, the one elevated, they're still suffering. Well, they're not. Put another way, they're not suffering self-imposed energy. They're not suffering energy deprivation anymore, right? But they have less energy, disposable energy. So they're not in heaven overnight. See? But they're not suffering energy deprivation anymore. Because in hereafter, the toes of us, right, the butts of us, they're going to have more energy than the minds of us. A lot more. Disposable energy. But they have less mental power to control it, to give it form. We understand that, brothers and sisters. See? So the thing is, even though they have more energy, we have more power. The mind will have more power because they have remember, thought is power, thought is pressure, and pressure times discipline is power. And the mind is, that's what, discipline don't come from the heart, it comes from the mind. Discipline don't come from the arm, it comes from the mind. So the mind is more disciplined, but we're the mind of the civilization, so all of us have discipline, but the mind is more disciplined than anything else. So even though they have less energy, disposable energy, because we all have the same amount of energy, right? It has more discipline, more power to control all the rest, to control the body. Not dictate to the body, because your brain controls the body, but if you got a good brain, it takes care of the body. That's the nature of our government. We don't, this democracy, the body votes. If you did, you'd be dead in a minute. If you listen to everything your body tells you to do, you'd be dead in a minute. That's not the way our creation works. We had a mind, the scientists, right, tell the other body what's the best thing to do, because it wants to do the best thing for the body, because it lives in the body. If you go ahead and misuse your body, you gotta live in it. You gotta take drugs and all this stuff, you mess your body, you gotta live in it. So then you want to do is you want to take care of your body. It's a holy thing, because you want to live in it. You want to take care of all problems. You want your toes to be happy. You want your fingers, you want everybody to be happy. That's the true nature of government, not this bullshit they give you, this democracy and all this kind of stuff. So, the balance. Balance perfect. The balance. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand, balance. That's a whole different math altogether. Well, does that change math? No, it doesn't change math. It's the math of our creation. See, you got the natural creation. The natural creation. That's the universe. Mathematics, period. Cold mathematics. Every action has opposite legal reactions. Cool. But then you got to, right? The mind of the creation. So in other words, if the universe is expand and contract forever, and there was no us, for instance, no consciousness, and it might well not even exist. No one to be aware, would be aware of itself or anything else. So I'm trying to find the words to explain this. So as it expands and contracts, right? Okay. As I said, when the universe contracts fully, it stops because the inner pressure is equals to outer pressure, so therefore that stops contracting. Otherwise, it's contracted to nothingness. And the inner is where the mind is, because the pressure in the inner is equal to the pressure in the outer, but the pressure in the inner, its temperature is much, because it's the same amount of energy but in a smaller space. That means the temperature goes up. It means it's moving 24 billion miles per second. Speed of thought is conscious. But the inner pressure is consciousness. The outer pressure, right, is equal to the inner pressure, but that means they're both equal. That means the inner pressure is equal to the outer pressure. That means, but the inner pressure is constant. That means it's guided outer pressure. I'm gonna leave that there, bro. So I'm not gonna take time to go in. I've talked about that extensively in the past, and and that's something you have to catch up to. But what's the mathematics of that? Because what happens is that mind in the center needs energy to operate. But then the universe changes. As the universe expands, that mind center has less and less energy. Less and less energy. So what's the math of that? That's the math of balance. It's not the math of the fundamental math of the universe consequence. It's the math of balance, which is consequence, right? But it's based on a different balance. Because see here, now I'm trying to speak clearly because I noticed my last presentation, my language, I said I don't speak clearly. And sometimes that's not good when you try to tell people about mathematics. So they have to use principles very clearly. So I said fulcrum, a fulcrum, Fulcrum, fulcrum. That's that red thing there, a fulcrum. That's the balance. See, our balance in relation to creation. Because our balance in relation to creation changes. Why? Because the amount of energy we have changes. The amount of energy we have changes. If the amount of energy stayed the same all the time, then it'd be same thing. It'd be totally consistent with every action has an opposite but equal reaction. Be total balance, equal balance, equal on both sides. Equal on both sides. Like I said, our mind, which is the inner pressure universe, which equals the outer pressure, is equal to the universe. That's why we control the universe. Because the inner pressure is thought. And the inner pressure is equal to the outer pressure, so, and that's all thought. That thought is equal, can understand the total universe. See, you never understood that before, you never was told that before. And that's what it means when maker own the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. I try to break that down, buddy. And that's from Muhammad knew exactly what he's talking about. So here's the fulcrum. The fulcrum is dead center balance. Now that kind of situation only happens 2 times in the universe. When the universe is totally contracted and the universe is totally expanded. Then you have that total equal balance right there. Okay. But beyond that, you don't have to eat that balance. You have a different balance. See? Now I'm trying to explain it as easy as best possible. That's balance. Oh, how's that balance? It's balance. It's not moving. It's balance. Because the fulcrum, Fulcrum, is moved. So that makes it balance. Because if you had in the center, right? See, if you're in the center and you had 1,000 over here, 250, that wouldn't work. Let me look at this again, bro. Did I go too fast here? Hold on, let me think about this for a minute. No, that's correct. That's correct. I'm thinking about something else. No, that's incorrect. That is incorrect. That's incorrect. Let me correct this, bro. Since that is incorrect. Definitely incorrect. That's definitely incorrect. I really do. I think I'm going to take a break. That is definitely incorrect. Definitely incorrect. What about says I'm going to correct this? Just give me a couple of minutes. It's definitely incorrect. I know where I made my error at. Whew. That is definitely incorrect. talking about other people. I definitely need to get some rest. I know. I'm not making any excuse here, brothers and sisters. But I just convinced myself I need to take a break. Okay, let me let's get this right. I put that there. So I'm gonna have to go back and correct delete the other two and correct them. There you go. That's the way it should be. There you go. That's the way it should be. I'm not saying anymore. Not gonna say anymore. Okay. And one more thing here. Okay. This is nope, doing like this. Definitely incorrect. There you go. Let's do it. Let's do it. I ain't making any excuses, bro. Since I know what I did on this. I did this. I gotta stop doing that. I copied the wrong version in. That was. I kept looking. I said that, and then I realized I copied the wrong version in, and what can I tell you? I'm not gonna make I'm sound like an excuse. I copied the wrong version in. I gotta stop doing that. Man. Oof. Just take me a couple of minutes, bro. So just bear with me. See? And I deserve somebody to kick my behind because I'm telling other people, you gotta be careful, and here I am. I need to get, it's no excuse. No excuse whatsoever. But I have to just convince myself I need a rest. Just convince myself I need to do, that's what I need to do. Let's see, wait a minute, make sure I'm not messing up again. Okay, that's that. That's that, okay. Okay, here, over here. So I got a new system here, and I got 5 laptops right now. Right. And I got 2 I use for backups. And I change the files from one place to the other. And sometimes I get the files mixed up. That's exactly what happened here. I didn't realize it just now. I kept looking, I said, there's something wrong with that. And I said, oh man, I can't believe I did that. There's something wrong with that. Can't believe I did that. Okay. 1 second, bro. She's almost there. So I'm gonna go back and look at the other one and see, I'm redo them. May I redo them? I don't know if it's necessary. It depends on, I have to look at it. I just suggest that if you're viewing this, when you look at the other ones, just these two, just these 2 pieces right here. That's on the mistake I got here. Just replace this. What I said is absolutely right. It's just that I got 2 slides wrong here. Where is this at? Nope, I don't do that. What am I doing here? Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, I have it right now. Okay, that's right. Okay, that's right, brown sister. I think that's right now. And I kept looking. I said, something that don't right. Seem right. Hold on. Let me get rid of this. Get rid of bad ones. Okay, no, it's good. Okay, here we go. Okay. Perfectly balanced, right? I said red thing, that's the fulcrum. That's what balance is when the universe is at the maximum expansion or the maximum contraction. That's what the fulcrum is. Now the fulcrum moves back and forth. That's the thing. As the universe expands or contracts, that fulcrum moves back and forth. See, it doesn't stay there. Only he's there at 2 points. That's why it says the 25th scientist, he only shows up at those 2 points in time because he's the perfect balance. So it's his time. He's the perfect balance. But the thing is he has to, because he's perfect balance, he has to put our civilization back in sync with you. Put it back in sync. Put it this way. I didn't mean to get this complicated, brown sisters. As the universe expands and contracts, we have to stay in sync with it. We don't stay in sync automatically because we can get out of sync. Is up to us. So like right now, you don't have to be in sync with the universe. You can be self-imposed energy deprivation because we don't have to be in sync because we change and give energy form. So we don't have to be in sync, right? Let me make sure clarify it, because everything. See, since I don't. Let me say it another way. Everything is in sync with the universe. There's no exceptions. Every action has absolute. So I just said we're not in sync. Let me explain this clearly. I hate this language really. Because they don't have the words because they understand these ideas, so they don't have the words for them. And hereafter we have words just fine, just like 800 years ago they didn't have 800 years ago they didn't have a word for gravity because they didn't know anything about gravity. They didn't have a word for it. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're trying to explain gravity, people, you're trying to figure out how to explain gravity. They didn't have a word for it. They didn't have a word for it until Newton came along and started talking about right, mass time. So they have an idea for gravity. That's why I thought the world was flat. Because they said you had to. That's another story together. And that's the problem I have, bro. So I'm trying to find words or trying to take other words. There's find words that don't exist. So everything's in sync with the universe. Nothing out of sync with the universe. Right? But you can be out of sync with your creation, say that away. Right? So for instance, the number 12, right? You come at 2 times 6, you come at 3 times 4, you come out 6 plus 6, you come at 8 plus 4. It's still 12. Right? See? But the balance is 6 plus 6. Right? 6 on both sides. But if you say 8 plus 4, that's not balanced. But it's still in sync with 10 and 12. You know what I'm saying? It's not balanced, but it's still in sync with 12. But it's not balanced. See? 6 plus 6 is balanced. But 8 plus 4 is not balanced, but it's still in sync with 12. So we're all in sync with the universe, right? But the relationship, so I'm going to try to, that's what I'm giving an example here. And maybe, because sometimes the speech, words, picture speaks louder than words. Because some of these concepts, I have trouble trying to explain them, bro. Since I'm trying to find out words that don't exist. Because this, what I'm telling you right now, you don't get this, you're not getting this anywhere. There's no words because they don't know it. So I gotta try to make up words or try to explain something that they don't have a language for. Okay, see here. Now this is balance. You see, it's balance. But one side is 1,000 and one side is 250. Okay? But it's balance. So let me see, there's another way to look at this. Well, I'm not going to go there. This is balance because the fulcrum moved. So if you got 1,000 pounds on this side, you need to put only 250 on this side for it to be balanced. It's balance. See? It's even. That's balance. You only need 250 on this side. So what does this mean? So let's look at the context of our situation. Right? Okay. 250 can control 1,000. 250 can balance 1,000. So that means if you put 1,000 in, you only get 250 back. That's the balance. It's against you. You have to put up 1,000 to balance 250. You have to put up $1,000 to get 250 back. See? That's energy deprivation. You have to put up 1,000 to get 250 back. See? Another way of looking at it is that right, you need 250 units of, you need $250, or you need $1,250 a day to survive, but you only get 1,000, right? But you need 1,250. So now you got this negative. It's balanced on the other side. Negative, that's 250 to keep you balanced. Now you got that negative to keep you balanced. See, this gets into a more complicated subject. I don't think I'm gonna do it 4. I might have to do it 4 to correct all this that thing I had. I apologize for that, brothers and sisters. Like I said, those two slides. That's the only thing was wrong with the whole thing, and I realized I copied the wrong 2 in. So if you can relate to that, then it shouldn't be a problem. I don't need to correct them because everything I said was correct. What I said about them was correct. It's just I had the wrong graph. Right? So if you go back and look at it, what I said was absolutely correct. You had the wrong graph there. So we're looking at it, that's why we personify things. So to maintain our balance, we create a devil. He represents 250. That keeps us balanced. See, because by us coming over here and going through energy, going through what we do, being around these devils, they kept us balanced. What does that mean, man? brothers and sisters. That's why I don't want to talk mathematics. Because it just don't seem right. Okay. If we had not created the devil, we still had 250 units of negative energy to keep us balanced. So in other words, if we didn't, that's where other things come into the ones that had other scales. See, because we really think about it, I'm not going to talk about it anymore because the other two explain what I'm getting ready to explain right now. But I wasn't going to talk about it and I put the wrong two in. Because the other two, they're valid, but for a different reason. Because I'm not going to go there. So maybe three, I'll bring all four of them in. The other two are valid. It's just, it wasn't for the conversation I'm having now. That's where the mix-up came up from. Because the other two I had, it's slanted, they're valid. It just wasn't for the conversation, but I said I wasn't going to talk about it in that sense. And I put the two in. This is what I want to talk about it right now. So if we had not created the devil, we still had 250 units of negative energy. But it would come in different forms: cancer, starvation, right? Disease, right? So the best way to keep us together, the best balance we could have, is to create them. So we would be suffering, but we stay together as a people. That's why we did that. So we stay together as a people, but we're in bondage. We're going in. But we stay together as a people because, and we'd be in a bad civilization, but we still have a civilization. Bad water is better than no water. So we still have a bad civilization and we're around bad people, but we still be together as a people. We still hold our tribe together. Hope you understand, brother and sister. Well, we did it. Otherwise, we've been scattered all over the place, right? Disease, right? Plagued by animals and all kind of stuff. That it would have came out in form. So a form we couldn't control. But we control energy, so we control this way. So it made them. So like I said, that's why I said submit to Adam. Because a bad civilization is better than no civilization. Submit to Adam. And the bliss said, I'm not going to do that. But we did. So the benefit, we still be together as people, be all messed up, but we still be together as a family. Keep your family together. If family don't mess up, but keep your family together. It was them, they allowed us to still be together as a family. See. I'm going some advanced stuff here, brothers and sisters. That's why I didn't want to bring another part in, because that takes me to another place altogether, and I didn't think it was necessary to try to explain the point I'm trying to explain here. So that's the balance. See? Because perfect balance would be 1,000 on both sides, or 250 on both sides. But that's the balance. That's justice. And if they had kept it on that level of justice, there would have been no penalty to them. There'd been no penalty to them, right? If they just gave us 250 for every 1,000 we gave them. We bust our ass for them. We did work every day. So they gave us 250 for every 1,000 we gave them. That's been justice, and there would have been no penalty to them. None. But if they go and give us 150 instead of 250, right? That's 100 imbalance. That's 100 injustice. Because it throws this off. That's the other thing I took out comes in. Then slanted. See, I'm not going to go into details about that, but you see where I'm going? Then the whole thing is slanted. And that's why I was trying to explain the horror cause. That's why I had the other two. Right? So I don't want to talk about that right now. Because that gets complicated. That's why it shouldn't have been slashed. Oh man, I got the wrong word. Because I had two things I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about the horror cause from this direction. I'm going to talk about the injustice direction in a more detailed way. And I decided, no, I just want to talk about this way, but I put the wrong one in about the way I didn't want to talk about. That's what happened, brothers and sisters. I just try to explain to you, right? Because that been slanted. And if it's slanted, it's not injustice. It's not justice. So this is justice. If they had kept it like that, that's justice. Because we've been servants to them. They had control of us. Because we told us to serve them. They had control of us. But they were reward. And the injustice is the Holocaust. That's the Holocaust. The injustice of it. Because they, instead of giving us 250, right, give us, right, okay, we're going to feed you. You're going to make steaks for us. And you're going to build mats for us. We're going to give you a little shack. Right? We're going to give you some clothes, right? You know, and y'all can, you know, your family, you know, y'all can have your own little apartment over there, your raggedy shack, right? But they ain't do that. See, when we give you some, you know, you can eat some corn and potatoes and, you know, some partridge or whatever. They do that. They gave us shit. They raped our women. See, they went beyond. And that's what they're paying for. Not by having us over here, not in servitude, because they was made to rule and we're supposed to submit to them. And as long as they kept in that there, then that's what it been until energy deprivation was over, and then there would be no claim against them. Because that was justice. They wasn't doing any injustice. Because that was the balance at the time. You understand, balanced math is different. It's balanced math. Let's move on a little bit further here. Maybe the math said I should tell you about the other part, because that's the part I brought in. That's not what I didn't want to tell you about. And the part I want to tell you about, I took out. And I got things. I got a presentation, right, that has the other one in. That's when I think about it, that's what happened, because I was going to talk about it the other way. And I decided to talk about it this way, and so I brought this one, the other one in by mistake, and I should have brought this one in. So when I think about it, that's what happened, right? Because when it's slanted, that's the injustice. See, when it's slanted, that's the injustice, so it has to be corrected. You understand? That's what I was trying to say. I don't want to go into that because that's more complicated. And now that I've done it, I think I'm going to have to part for displaying that part, so you understand I'm not just trying to get out of what I did, because there's injustice, and if it just has to correct. If it's slanted, it has to be, you know, has to be balanced. So like now in the hereafter, right? See, we're in the hereafter, like I said that earlier. But as the universe contracts, right? Then the focal moves the other direction. Remember, it moves one way or the other. Now it's moving in a positive direction for us. Because now we're out of energy deprivation and we're getting more energy. So now you put 1,000 in and you get 2,500 back. That's the balance. And then later, 3,000, 10,000, 100,000 back. Because the flow keeps shifting. You understand? That's why it gets better and better and better. So you put 1,000 units of energy in, and you get 1,000,000 units of energy back. You put a little effort in, you get a lot back. That's paradise. And that's the balance. That's the justice. So you invest 1,000, you get 10,000 back. That's the justice. See, so how does that add up? Well, every action has opposite equal reaction. It still does. But as far as the balance depends on the state of the universe. Because the fulcrum moves. Because think about it. If the universe, if all the energy out there comes back here, that means now we got more energy here than before. So the balance couldn't be 1 for 1, because now we got more energy than here before, and that's the balance. That's why the fire angels did not want the universe to expand, because the folk would start moving the other way, they start losing energy, and so the balance would go against them. They said, no, we want to keep it like this. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand. See, as the balance math, See? And the universal math. The balanced math as related to us. Because the balanced math changes as the universe expands and contracts. Expands and contracts. So in deprivation, the balance changed against us. Right? As the universe starts contracting, the balance, right, goes in our favor. That's different mathematics. And that's where scientists come in. Because what happens is, right, we have to keep adjusting our society for that balance. Because the balance right now, that balance will not work 1,000, 10,000 years from now. That's why in the Quran it says a man is a degree above a woman, because that was the balance at the time. You see? But now, Suleiman come and put everything equal. That's what I say. He only shows up 2 times when the balance is perfectly equal on both sides, because he's perfectly equal on both sides. And that's the only time he shows up. Let me go and show this. See, like I said, you have the 25th scientist, you have 24th scientist all the way down. You go from the scientist down to the next level, and next level all the way down to the toes. See, the 25th scientist is the essence of us, right? We're all together with Allah. But you got that one in it, right? And then you got the scientist. Okay. That one is perfectly tuned, 100% balance, equal on both sides. See, the scientist off a little bit, maybe, right? 51 on one side, 49 on the other. Right. Another one, next one would be like 60 on one side, 40 on another one. Another one down here, maybe 30 on one side, 70 on another. Right? Just, right? So when the universe, when folk switches to 30-40, 30-70, then that scientist rules. Because he's totally in sync with the balance at that time. See? Let me go here. See, Suleiman is totally, he shows up when it's like this. Because that's what he is. He's perfectly balanced. So he shows up that time, right? But and he has to put the whole body like that, because the body before he came was like 55-45. So he shows up as 55-45. But now the universe, right? We're not so into deprivation anymore, so it should be 100. So you got to take the whole society and put it back into the equal. So he tunes it back up equal. Right? 100. Because that's the way it is, that's the way it should be at that time. He's the only one can do it. And then once he does it, it hands off to the next scientist, because the universe starts changing again. The balance changes. So it changes to, instead of 50-50, right? It changes to 49-51. So that's okay. Get the math from how much? He's 51. 59. He's 49-51. Just a little off, but almost perfect balance. But hands off, because now he rules, because he's totally in tune, right, with the balance of their time. That's why scientists ruled that Dr. Yaqub, he came along and made his man at that time, right, because he was totally in tune with the balance of their time. That's why it moves on to different scientists. That's why it's only 2 times in history that's totally balanced. And that's at the beginning of the maximum contraction and maximum expansion. And that's why he only showed up twice in history, those times. Because he's the only one that can reset it. That's why you see in ancient days he gives it to Master Farad Muhammad. Because he resets it. So no, he makes the woman equal and the man equal, because at that time they're equal. So he sets everything equal. He resets it. And then it's panned off too. And he resets it, right? And then he passes off to, right, Master Muhammad, which is, he's so close to being 100% on both. So it's passed off to him. You can almost not tell the difference. See? But the thing is, remember, it's going in our favor. So it's 1,000, but now, say for instance, it's 50-50, right? The energy deprivation was 51-49 against us. The 51 was against us. But now with Master Muhammad, it'd be a force. The 51 on the positive side and 49 on the negative side. So now we have the advantage. And he rules, and then until his line has reached its limit, every line has a limit, and then the next side just takes over, and that keeps going all the way till we get back to the beginning again. And then someone has to reset it again. So that's pretty much as far as I'm going to go with this, brothers and sisters. See, like I said, I apologize. I was thinking about it. I said, how did that happen? How did it happen? And at first I thought it was because going back and forth to computers, I put the wrong thing in. Then I realized I had both of those in there. And I was going to talk about both of them that side, and I didn't want to talk about the other one because it gets a lot of complicated stuff. And it was simple, but I mean, it could be simple, but I didn't think I want to talk about it right now. I want to just talk about it the simplest way. And so what happened was, like I said, they're suffering a hard cost, like I said in the beginning, because they upset that balance. And that's what the other slides were supposed to go into detail. I didn't want to go into detail about that yet. No, but I'm talking about a little bit of right now, but I'm not going to bring those slides back in. But it's then slanted because it's not balanced now. It's injustice that has to be corrected. See. So, and when I think about it, I am going to do a fourth one. Just put it together because I don't want to talk about it, but I'm going to have to talk about it now because otherwise I'm going to leave a bad taste in people's mouths, right? Because they're going to think, hey, I'm going to have to talk about it. So probably maybe tomorrow I'll go ahead and do the other two slides, explain it. Because see, when it's off, when see it's balanced here, it's flat, horizontal. When it's at slant, that means there's injustice there. That's no injustice. And I want to talk about the injustice, like I didn't want to go into that. So it's injustice when it's slanted like that. And that means it has to be corrected. Something has to be put there to correct it. And that's what's going on right now, because the Holocaust is a correction for what they did, the imbalance. If there was no imbalance, there would be no consequence with what you're about to experience. What you're about to experience right now is the injustice, not the enslavement, it's the affliction part. That's what puts the thing at a curve, at slant. That I had initially in the previous one. I put it at slant. And that's something I want to talk about, injustice, right? But that's something that's a little more complicated I want to talk about down the line. I said this was too early to talk about it. So I'm going to give you a little taste here. That injustice has to be corrected. And I say you have a current. We have see, that's why I didn't want to talk about it, because I never talk about it like that. I said when you have a differential in pressure, you have a current. And that's what I want to go into. I had to go into that math like that, because when you have an imbalance, same thing, that's injustice. That's why I don't want to talk about it, because it takes like, well, I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. See, I got myself into something here because I shouldn't have made that mistake. I got myself into something because I'm supposed to be talking about something I don't want to talk about yet, because you need some more background information. But when the slides off like that, means it has to be balanced. You have to correct it as a current. And right now, see, I'm I'm digging the grave here, brothers and sisters. The Holocaust is a correction. Not the Holocaust. I mean, what they've experienced right now is a correction. And injustice has been done to us. And injustice has been done to us. Because as long as they, remember they said, don't touch that tree, they should be unjust. As they used the word unjust in the Quran. And injustice has been done to us. If they had just enslaved us, that wouldn't have been injustice, because that we were supposed to submit. That was they was given power to do. See, I'm dragging myself in this anyway. But they did an injustice. So that's the Holocaust, the injustice. So a current has to come and correct it. And that's what you're experiencing right now. You experience the current time, unprecedented trouble, to correct the injustice. Put it the balance. See, so that's a short way of saying it. I really want to take time to really go into that more in depth, but I think you understand the basic. Let me say it again, without going into, and I'm gonna have to do part 4 to put those together. I probably should just did it, and I wouldn't be talking about this now. I should just did it, because I was trying to say I don't want to do it all in one session, right? See here, this is the balance. This happens, 1948, this is where we were. Balance, equal. Right? See, this is where we are right now. Until we get this energy burst I've been telling you about, we got it. So if we start feeling it, right, then it's going to be in our favor. So it's not going to be like this anymore. See? But Superman's here he's here to correct it, to put everything back in sync, to fine tune it, and put everything, because that's why it says the female and the male is equal, because he putting everything back, because everything was off a little bit, right? Because it's slightly imbalanced. So the scientists don't see it like I see it, because only Superman will see perfect balance. Balance perfect. Others will see this little at an angle. And it says before he came, the last scientist, Dr. Yakub, right, he saw an angle where the female was 1 degree lower than the male. But that was the justice at that was the balance at the time. That was just. That's why I said, I've been saying I'm going a lot further than I expect to go, brothers and sisters. See, because I made that mistake, I got to talk all this stuff I didn't want to talk about. So I might as well just sit down and do it. And remember I've been saying before, there's because of energy deprivation, right? There was a reason why the female was less than the male. I said that, but that's not the way it was. Just during that period of time. This is what I was talking about. See, because that was the justice at the time. That was the balance at the time. But now that balance, 1948, that balance is equal now. So in other words, the male and the female is equal. That was the balance at the time. So the male had the female in subjection. But now, if you do that now, you're unjust. If you do that now, you're unjust. If you do that now, you're unjust. It wasn't unjust to do it back in Prophet Muhammad's time, because that was the balance. See, I'm going to the math of it. That's what I was trying to do. All the things I was talking about, I'm trying to give you the math in terms of balance. I never talked to you about it in terms of balance. I keep telling you just about the fundamental action equal reaction. But now I'm trying to explain the mathematics of balance. And I want to do it in 2 parts, because it's complicated. It's really simple, but it's complicated to try to explain it. See? So now I'm trying to get you to understand the mathematics of balance, because that's the mathematics that governs us as a people, as a civilization. See, that's not the math that governs the universe. Math that governs the universe is every action has absolute equal reaction. That's fundamental to this also, because the universe expands and contracts. It's not inert, right? That means the balance shifts, the fulcrum shifts. That's how we end up in energy deprivation. And now we're going into the energy was against us. Now it's for us, and right now it's equal. But now we're getting ready to get the advantage. So it's going to be like you put 1,000, you get 2,000 back. That gets back to the point where I was saying one person can take out 2 people. Because now it's not advantage. Because when it was against us, one of them could knock out 10 of us. And that's what's happening in energy deprivation. You have an overseer and a couple of people, and you got 100 slaves, and they was controlling them. Because that was the balance at the time. But that balance was slowly being eroded until eventually they had less and less control over us. Until now, right? They have no control, more trouble you give them, because it's 1 for 1. Unless you suffer self-imposed energy deprivation, it's 1 for 1. See, one of us could take out one of them. 1 for 1, that's just. If one of us take out 2 of them, that's unjust on our part. Because 1 for 1. If one of us take out 2 of them, that's unjust on our part. But let me see, that's why I didn't want to go to the other one, because it gets more complicated. I got to call them. Okay, one of us, say for instance, say for instance 1,000, right? They're 1,000 with 1,000. That's the balance, right? But say one person is 1,000, but each one of those is 500. So together, each one of those devils worth 500. So together they make up 1,000. So we have 2 devils around us. You understand? The balance. We have 2,000, 2 devils around us, because they 500 apiece. Say they're 100 apiece. There's 10 of them. We have 10 devils to make up the 1,000. The balance, right? So if they're all 100s, then one of us could take out 10. That's why I had to break that down, because you say, well, one take out 1. No, it depends on their value. So if their value is 100, then one could take out 10. But if their value is 1,000, one you take 1 to 1. Because it's got to be 1,000, it's got to be worth 1,000. You see what I'm saying? That's why the war latter days, we could be outnumbered like 100 to 1. But we're going to be able to deal with them once you understand the math. That's one of the reasons why I'm trying to teach this math now, because we're going to go to war. And you're going to be outnumbered. In every conflict we could be against, we're going to be way outnumbered. But if you look at the numbers, you're going to be afraid, you're going to be fearful. And I'm trying to tell you, the numbers don't matter. It's the balance that matters. It's the balance that matters, not the numbers, the balance. And right now, the balance is equal. But when we finally experience this energy way I've been telling you about, then it's going to be in our favor. And that's when we're going to have to start control. And they ain't going to allow that. That's when they're going to try to kill us. Because, see, I'm going down this path, but I didn't want to go down it. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. See, that's for the other, the one that had the wrong ones in here. That's what this was all. That's what that was all about. Okay, remember I said if it's 1,000, each one of them is worth like 500. There's 2 of them, right? So you can take out 2. Well, if it's 3 of them, well, if you took out 3, now it's against you. You got 500 against you, because you can't take, it's 1 to 2, right? And that's the problem. That's why we got to be taken out of here, brothers and sisters. That's why because, well, say for instance, we go 5 to 1. This energy we're about to experience, right? Okay, say we have 1,000 and we get 5,000 back, right? So we have 1,000 and we get 5. We put 1,000 and we get 1,000. That means we can take out 5 of them, because if each one of them works. Each one of them is worth 1,000. That's 5 of them, and the balance is 1 to 5. Then this energy we get, I'm not saying what the balance is going to be. Let me say it slowly. If the balance turns out that we get some energy, that now, because right now it says equal, so then it becomes, we can put 1,000 in and get 5,000 back. That means it's 5 to 1. That means if each one of the devils worth 1,000, then we can take out 5,000, 5 of them, right? And that's justice. No problem, no consequence. That's justice. Well, there's 6 of them. You understand where I'm going with this? See, we outnumbered them. It's approximately 17 million of us, right? But it's over 300 million of them. This is basic math. Say it was 20 million, 17 million. It's 20 million against 300 million, right? That would be, see, 20 going to 10 goes to 300 million, right? That would break it 330, 3 million. Right? So let's try to understand this. If we got, okay, it's basic. You got 20 million against 300 million, or you got 20 against 300. 20 against 300. So you break that down, it'd be 10 against 30. Okay? 10 against 30. Or 1 against 3. That's not right. I'll do this in my head, bro. If you got 20 against 300, because 20 against 300 million is like 20 million against 300 million is like 20 against 300. 20 against 300. So how many times does 20 go to 300? Well, 10 goes 300, right? So I had it backwards. 10 goes through 30 times, right? But if 10 goes 30 times, 20 will go in there 15 times. That's 15 to 1. So we outnumber 15 to 1. But the ratio is 1 to 5, not 1 to 15. So we take out 5, right? Well, I said 15 to 1, right? That's what we outnumber by them, 15 to 1. But if we take out 5, there's still 10 left to take us out. That's why we can't go to war with them. That's why we gotta get out of here. Because we have the advantage, but they got the numbers. See? You understand? I didn't want to go into this kind of stuff, brothers and sisters, because that's why I didn't want to go into it, but I'm going into it now. That's why I have to be taken out here. Because we can defeat them at a rate of 5 to 1, but we can't defeat them with this level of energy at 15 to 1. We can't do it. So because if we can take out 5, fine. But we got to take out 15. So then you got the other team, when they come, you take out one of them, then they get you. Because now the balance is against you. Because you can't take them all out. You can't do it. That's why we're using the enemies to do it. The Chinese, everybody else. We can't do it personally. Hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. We can't do it personally. Because it's 5 to 1, but they outnumber 15 to 1. So we have to take us out of here. See? So I'm trying to teach you balanced mathematics. There's a lot more to it. I'm really, like the other part, it goes a lot more detail than what I'm telling you now, so I'm just giving some highlights. I guess I'm going to have to do that one to go into, because you have to understand balance and justice. Because a lot of you think injustice means, okay, right, it is equal. No, it's only at this time in history, it is equal. That's why the 25th scientist, Suleiman, shows up, because he's in sync with that. He puts everything, he resets everything, right? Equality. He resets it, he fine-tunes the universe in total sync, right, at this point. And then he says kingdom lasts forever, because the way the law and everything's set up is that once that balance changes, then the scientist that fits into that science takes charge and move on. We don't have voting everything. The scientist that is in sync with that balance is the scientist that rules for that period of time and is seed until their threshold, if you will, right, runs out. Because they have a certain level, like my seed, right? I produce it be a little different. But at some point, right, it won't. It's in a certain range, and then another seed will take over a different range, different ranges. See, that's how it works. That's why Suleiman, he resets it. He puts everything as a kingdom will last forever. He resets it. He fine-tunes it, puts it back in perfect balance. Male and females equal, right? Puts everything back. Then he gives the master Muhammad, right? Which is right. And he rules until his seed line threshold is reached. And then no scientist family moves in, because they're in sync with the universe. When that balance changes to that. When the balance changes to be in sync with their balance, and they can keep it in that, they keep our family in tune with the universe at that point in time. Because the universe right now, the way it is right now, we have to put everything in sync even. Otherwise, we'd be unjust. If we try to treat the woman a degree below, we'd be unjust right now. That's why I need someone to come in to get you back just so you don't do injustice. Because you have treated her as an equal. Because the time of treating as a degree below, that time is past. If you do that now, you'd be unjust. And we are just people. That's why someone has come in, put everything back in sync, so we don't suffer injustice. So each scientist come in, that's in sync with the balance of their time, so no one does injustice. So they have wars and all that kind of stuff. Collapsing of civilization stuff. See, because right now, look, America's suffering all kinds of injustice. But, well, I'll put it this way. They're suffering the consequences of their injustice. Because they'd have followed the guidelines that Dr. Yakub gave them. The guidelines, they said, well, let's make them, they were told, well, I'm going to give you guidance. If you follow my guidance, no fear shall come upon you, nor shall grieve, but don't touch that tree. And they didn't follow that, so therefore now, right, they act unjustly because they went beyond the balance. So now you got to correct the force. That's what's happening right now, to correct it, because everything has to be corrected. Every action has an opposite equal reaction. See where that comes in at? That's the correction. So what you're going through right now is you're seeing the corrective force of what it did to us. You're going to see the corrective force until it's totally equal. It will be just. That's why it's going to all fuse in one day, in 1 year. It'll be just. Because the universe is just. So what happened is they're going to pay every bit of what they did until it's back balanced again. They're just, because now it's at a slant. It's got to be put back just again. And that's what's happening right now. It's nothing they can do to stop it. Nothing they can do to stop it. No blood of Jesus, nothing else going to stop it. See, I'm trying to explain something in a mathematical way. I've been explaining math, but I didn't go to this kind of detail. I never explained to you how the balance works. Now I'm telling you, you have thorough knowledge of self-balance. It's that balance. So when the balance changes, the balance will change in our favor. It's going to get better and better and better. That's what it's talking about, the mercy when you cry. That's the kind of mercy. Because everything, whatever you do, it just gets better and better for you. Those of us that make it, but then again, just making is not enough, because now that gets the other thing, is that the pressure increases, right? And so if your mind's not powerful enough to withstand the pressure, then you crash. That's what causes death. Death is when the outer pressure is greater than the inner pressure, so it crushes the inner pressure out of existence. So your mind has to be strong enough, right, to overcome the outer pressure. Then that means you're expanding, you're growing. So just going to what you call a hereafter, because we're in hereafter right now. If just going hereafter, you say, oh, I'm doing everything's be great. No, it ain't. Because You're going to be dealing with mathematics. You deal with powerful minds. If your mind is less than, not equal to or more powerful, then you'll be crushed. You will not make it there. You think, oh, I'm sitting, I'm here after now, man, I'm got me paralyzed, my God, stuff. No. Your mind will have to be powerful enough to withstand that pressures. Because the universe contracts, right? Remember, I'm just cut it, brothers, because like I said, wow, 9 minutes, 30 minutes. How does it get to be we get back to the beginning of the creation again? It's only one person. There's only one individual. All life comes from, because the universe contract, the pressure built, and after a while, people couldn't take it. Even their minds weren't strong enough. And so their mind, they was crushed out of existence. Maybe a million years from now, maybe your seed line may be a million years from now. Maybe go to 10,000, maybe go a billion years from now. And then at that point, it can't go any further, because now you can't produce anybody in your line, your seed, that's mind strong enough to deal with the pressures of that time. So therefore, now your line is going out of existence. And some of your line may go a billion years, some may go a trillion years. But eventually, only one mind is going to be able to go all the way. Only one mind is going to be able to go all the way. And I'm saying that to say, same thing, you go into what you call the hereafter, right? Because if your mind is not strong enough, then you might as well not even go. Because you'll be crushed out of this, you won't be able to survive it. You won't be able to communicate. You know, people want to search around you to play with you like a little toy, because that's what I told you. You got to get the engine. You got to start studying. You got to get your mind. That's your mind. That's the mind you need. Another way of saying the angel is the mind you need for the new reality, which has already started. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. So I went a lot more complicated idea because I made an error. So I had to talk about stuff I didn't want to talk about yet. But I think I talked about it. I hope you understand, brothers and sisters. The mathematics of balance. That's the mathematics that governs us. But inside that is every action has opposite but equal reaction. Remember, opposite but equal reaction. But the balance is is the mathematics that control our civilization, how we move through the universe, how we change energy from one form to another. See? And so like how we manipulate things, like I said, by making Yakuts go after devils and putting us in the middle of it, that kept us together as a people. We suffered, but we kept together as a people. That's how we did to keep us together as a people. If we hadn't done, we'd be scattered all over the planet. See? Disease and everything else. But that kept us together. See? By submitting. Because we had rebelled, like some did, right? Then you become unjust, and then you get out of it. Now you're in Haiti or Jamaica, whatever, all other places, and you didn't get the full benefit of being turned into pure gold or diamonds. That's another story altogether. Mm-hmm. But when you put gold into a furnace, remember, you put it in your purifier, but you got to pull it out. You can't leave it in there. Once it's pure, you got to pull it out. There's no way to look at what Master Muhammad do, because now you're pure, because that's you. Muslim has to. He's the tester. He certifies. Oh, it's pure. Now somebody's got to pull it out. When you pull it out, right? Think about it. And certified, right? Then you turn the furnace off, because America's the furnace. That's why it says Daniel would characterize us as being in the furnace. He was in there with 3 Levites in the furnace. See? They burn off all the impurities, the weak ones of us. Okay. But now some of those impurities turned against us. Those are traitors and everything. Those are the ones going to be told to the tyrant. I'm going to talk about that here. So understand there's a lot of ways I can give you analogies of this, brothers and sisters. But I want you to understand the balance. And that gives you a better understanding of why we went through what we went through, and why things are like they are, and why we did things like we did, like we made the devil. So at least we would be in a civilization of maybe a bad civilization, but we'd be still together as a people. In a bad civilization, rather than just scattered over, be eaten up by lions and tigers and disease and energy. So we give it this quality, right? So we say this is the way we want to do it. So we stay together as a family. So we go to the Holocaust, we go together. And say, we all go through it together, which has certain benefits. Because we had, there I go. I'm going to another. No, but I'm going to stop here. See. I wish I could remember that presentation, but I gave you a presentation about 8 months ago. But how we put things, you diminish the pressure and the tension by putting things together. I can't remember that. And by us being together right here, it eased the Holocaust a little bit. That's another science altogether. I'm not going here. That's deeper mathematics, bro. So I'm not going there. Not tonight. Got to be another 2 hours explaining that, right? See, because we don't have tribal unity, right? But we have people unity, which means we're all here together. And by us all being here together, right, it eases our pain just a little bit. No, let me shut up, because that requires, that's some deep math right there, brothers and sisters. I'm not going to it. I'm going to leave it there. So I hope you understand what I said so far. Because, I'll be here all night. I go deeper and deeper and deeper into this. I did put a presentation. I just explained that, about 8 or 9 months ago. Maybe I'll dig it back up. Right? But it's being here softened, right, in the deprivation situation because of the science of unity. Even though we wasn't bonded unity, we still have the unity of us all being here together. And there's a science about that, right? That the mathematics, I'm not going to go, I explained it in another present a long time ago, so I'm having balances. The more I keep talking, the more I get myself deeper and deeper. There's so much to explain to you, brothers. It's just me doing it. I'm wearing myself out here. And hopefully you understand what I just told you tonight. See, trying to show you why Dr. Yakub did it. He wasn't an evil person. He was in sync. He was a scientist who was in sync with this 24, this season, the last 6,000 years. And what he did wasn't against us. What he did wasn't against us. See? Because when you deal from the mathematical point, you realize, but if you look from heart point, oh man, look, he made a devil, man, he beat us and all that kind of stuff. Because you look from the heart, you understand the math behind it. Because he hadn't done that, we wouldn't be together as a people here. We'd still be something, we wouldn't be together as a people. See? But we played by devils and demons, but we're still here as a people. See? Some people might say, man, well, I'd rather be poor around my family, all around my family friends, we're all poor together, than be rich and isolated on some house somewhere, nobody around, nobody know, no family, anything. Some people say that'd be better. I'd rather be poor around family and friends. There's certain richness in that, isn't it? Certain richness in that, isn't it? Than to be rich and around nobody. Think about that one for a minute. See, once you get to the mathematical standard, bro, says you're going to see things totally different. Totally different. See? So, that's the situation. But remember, and keep this in mind, it says we go out with great wealth. We don't go out with great wealth, we don't have great wealth. We have great wealth now. It's just, we get the shit part of it. They control the nature, the quality of our wealth. So they give us $1 million worth of shit, it's still worth $1 million. But they say we only can have the shit part. They keep the gold part. They control how you use your money. So well, you can buy a shit farm, that's the only thing you can buy. So now you get worth $1 million, but you gotta smell shit and you gotta dig. Yeah. See? Because like I said, I'm wealthy. You're wealthy. You're more wealthy than me. Because, like I said, the lower you are on the scale, the more energy you're gonna have because you're less complicated. But we're still all wealthy. Some more than others. But if I get the hell out of here and stop letting control my wealth, then I won't have to be suffering this. I'm not suffering any deprivation. I'm suffering quality of wealth because I got me a big shit in the farm. And I got to smell shit, but it's worth $1 million. I don't want that, but it's worth $1 million. So, brothers and sisters, I'm not here. I'm not asking you for a dime. I'm not taking anything from you. We're here to get you home. See, period. Because once you get out of here, you're going to be rich. Right? But you better have your mind, power of your mind, to be the joy of riches. Because if you don't have that mind, if your mind is on the level of the angel when you go out here, you're going to be crushed. Ain't nobody's going out there trying to crush you. You're just going to be crushed. You ain't going to be able to make it. You'll be dealing with the minds. The mind's going to be too powerful for you. You'll be crushed without existence. Hope you understand, but I'm leaving. I got to leave it here. I got so much stuff. I keep thinking all the things I could be saying. And I've already done, almost 2 hours. I ain't had to do anything like that. It's probably been half an hour. And just because I made that little error with that, it's for almost 2 hours. I got to be more careful. I really need to get some rest. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters.